Welcome, welcome. Season 4, episode 5 of the Breaking Chains podcast. Today, we're going to talk about escaping the Matrix.
Dun, dun, dun. And we're getting better every day. So Tyler, our producer, thought it would be a really good, fun topic for us to talk about how to escape the Matrix. You can't get better unless you realize what's happening. Because what are you getting better at? This is deep. This is like deep. When you go into the Matrix and what is the Matrix? Is the Matrix real? Where are we?
What do you mean, what do you get betting at?
Remember that book we both read that was like, you're in the middle of nowhere floating on a rock?
Yes. And nobody ever thinks about that.
You're just in the middle of nowhere. So think about the infiniteness of space.
Spinning in a circle.
And just think about Earth. Or is it a circle or is it flat?
Don't know.
We're just spinning though. Are we spinning? Are we even spinning? It's a dome. Somebody said in the Bible that even the Bible is a flat earth is because the Bible says it's a, okay, now I'm looking dumb.
Yeah, it's a dome.
What is it
but
called?
I forgot the word.
What's the firmament?
Yes,
A firmament.
Firmament.
A firmament.
No, firmament.
A firmament.
I don't think it's a firmament. Isn't it firmament?
Yes, it is a space firmament.
Okay.
Not a firmament. Not like a firm, but a firmament.
Okay, so it is a
And then
firmament.
if you look at what that is, it's a dome. And so you have to have like flat.
It was actually on this
dome.
episode of The Simpsons.
And then it's as above, so below. So there's infiniteness up and there's infiniteness below. Who's ever been to the bottom of the ocean?
No one.
No one. Yeah, so this gets wild when we talk about the Matrix, right? Like,
But is that the Matrix?
I think the Matrix is just, where in space and time are you?
I think we're the Matrix.
I'm Neo.
No, what I'm saying is I think that our minds are the Matrix.
Yeah, it's the computer.
Yeah. So it's not.
Or is it the computer?
We keep thinking outside is the Matrix. You know, like the cabal and, food shortages and this and that. But I think it's a storyline in our mind.
It's whatever you believe. And this is what, like, when I read the Bible, I go very deep. I don't, because if you actually read the Bible, today I was reading the Bible and it's literally, there's jokes in the Bible. It's like Jesus only talks in parables, right? Like
But did Jesus write the Bible?
He talks in parables. Whoever you think Jesus is in the Bible, Jesus, the character, the human, the person, the God, Jesus Christ, in the Bible, he talks in parables. So everything needs to be deciphered. So this book that was already interpreted, translated, interpreted again, translated again, and we land on King James Version 3, whatever we are. He's still talking in parables. It's a parable, meaning you have to decipher it. You have to come up with your own conclusion. And in this, I think it was actually, was it Mark that I was in today? But it was talking about the parables, and it said that you will understand the parables when God tells you, basically. Like you'll understand what I'm saying. Jesus is saying you'll understand when you're ready. Basically. So whoever interprets them, that's their understanding of it. That's their interpretation. But that's just like your perception of the world. Nobody is going to perceive the world as you do. And that's basically the Matrix.
I think I said in another episode, and I heard it from this guy, Muji, but he said there's one Earth, but there's 8 billion worlds. Because every single one of us has a completely different perspective of the Earth.
And it's interesting that he said that, because is there one Earth? When you think about the infinite of space-time reality, and the only thing that ever exists is this point in space and time, and the only way to get to anywhere else in the infinite potential of anything, you have to aim there, right? So in all of the chances, in all of the potential ways that you can go, it's infinite right now.
But it's still Earth. It's just a different Earth. It's a parallel reality.
Right.
So, but it's still Earth.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah.
But it's just a different version of Earth, or it's a different version of you on that Earth.
Yeah. Like, boom. Like, I can change. It's like the butterfly effect. You go into all the movies today. Like, you could change anything. You've seen the butterfly effect, right, Tyler? Come on.
You haven't seen that one either? I just saw it for the first time about
Oh, yeah. I
2 months
showed you the
ago, 3
butterfly
months ago,
effect.
maybe?
It's anything you do right now not only changes your future, but it also changes your path.
Yeah.
Past, not path. It changes your past, meaning you can actually go back into your, everything is a story, and this is what the Matrix is. You can change your right nowness by going back to your past and rewriting your story. Now, yes, there's traumatic events. There's a lot of things that may have happened in your life to bring you to where you are today. That's why this is so important. To go back and tell yourself a different version of what happened, because the past doesn't actually exist. All that exists is the story in your head about the past. That's all history is. Just as your future. All the future is a story that you may want to happen, but has it happened? Can anyone tell the future, or can everyone tell the future by the story that you tell?
Can say that one more time?
Can anyone tell the future, or can everyone tell the future? Because you're literally writing it based off the story that you are telling yourself. It can go deeper here with spirituality and religion, right? Because there are supposedly chosen ones who are prophets.
Yeah.
What's a prophet?
I don't know.
Right. Does anyone, who's to say?
I would say a prophet is someone who has their own unique truth and wants to share that.
Do you think there are real prophets? Personally, do you think there's somebody that actually knows an absolute truth that was given to them by God, and they're telling you what's happening, and they know for sure because they were told by God?
I think that there are people with a divine connection, or who, I believe everybody has a divine connection, but I believe there are people who are highly aware to their divine connection and do receive downloads and are here for the purpose of sharing specific knowledge and wisdom with others, as that's why they were created.
Now, do you think those people are actually old souls who have done this over and over again, and then they're back and they're like, hey, just want to let you guys know, here's how it goes. Let me just spare you the pain and suffering.
Well, if they say life is a journey, and so they say you live many lives,
Who's they?
Just
if you believe
people.
in reincarnation.
Yeah, I guess everything is a construct though, right? Everything we believe in, because it's a construct.
Does Christianity believe in reincarnation? No. Christianity, it's just you die and then you either suffer in hell or go to heaven.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So not every religion, if you will, but if you think about Hinduism or Buddhism, pretty much life is eternal, and you're here as a specific character for this time around, where you become enlightened and you are no longer you're no longer a person in the world, but you are the world.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You're describing Jesus Christ. He came here pure.
I'm describing multiple sages and prophets.
Right. Okay. So if you describing Jesus Christ as, okay, I'm here to tell you the word of God.
Yes.
Here's the word of God. Moses, I think, was also speaking the word of God, right? But he wasn't Jesus Christ, because Jesus was God in human flesh.
So yeah, but
Okay.
No, he was, but I think it's interpretation.
Right.
So for instance,
that's all we could do.
I
We
think
could just
Jesus
interpret
and
the Bible.
Moses are very similar people.
Did
in their
anybody ever
stories.
meet Jesus here? Right. So all we can do is take the stories that we've been told and read and interpret it our best and understand it our best, or we can believe somebody who we look at as a superior to our knowingness and say, oh, you're right, I'm just going to follow what you say. Or we go deeper and say, okay, I'm skeptical, but I'm listening.
Oh, I think that's the most important thing you can do.
Yeah, I'm skeptical.
Is to be open,
but I'm listening.
but skeptical. Yeah.
Like, okay, that sounds cool. It sounds really cool that this one guy came to save us all, and he washed away all my sins. And then it goes deeper. What is that?
But if you really think about it, Jesus was 2,000 years ago. And then before that, there was Egyptians and there was everything else. Like if you think about all of the temples across the world, they're in unique access points where they are saying, and I don't know who they is, through research, which whatever that means, right? Question everything. But through research, there were yogis, like in the temple, they were using sound to keep peace in these large areas. And there were yogis so incredibly powerful that they would go in their unique temples in their country. So like Egypt, and then let's just say Peru, and let's say even in North America, there were temples. And the yogis used to go there to keep world peace, saying that their vibration and frequency was that strong, that's what, and that was 20,000 years ago, 15,000, right? So
they also used the pyramids as healing modalities. So people think, and it's funny how what we learned in school, right? We learned in school that these were all tombs, big tombs for the pharaohs. Yeah. The pharaoh died, and then they buried the pharaoh in the tomb. That was it. And we're like, so how'd they build the tombs? Like, you keep saying this was impossible for humans. Oh, pulley and levers. They definitely did some pulley and lever things. And then if you study the Egyptian pyramids right now, it's wild, because if you go deeper and deeper past Egypt, into Peru, into all the places, the way that the stones are cut are laser beam technology. The way that they're placed is the only way they were placed so precisely and cut so perfectly is laser beam and something lifting these rocks and putting them exactly where they needed to be. So the people that study this, they're like, okay, either this was aliens or there was some crazy technology that we don't even know exists today.
But there's also studies that show that the technology that they were actually using was sound
And levitation.
That's
like
it. Right?
Vibration.
So
they could,
even
lift
the monks when they were building buildings, I guess, on mountains, all the monks would gather together and they would play specific instruments
and levitate
at a specific frequency, which would levitate the large stones onto where they needed it.
Yeah. It's so fascinating. Now, who knows?
Who knows what's real?
Who knows? But that is why it's... One time you said that the only way to... What was that question? Like, you lose your mind. Like, you lose your mind. The only way to like find yourself is to lose your mind.
To lose yourself, yeah.
Yeah. And like, so once you go down, like when you stop just accepting things at face value, like, oh, I grew up Christian and I'm reading the Bible and this is what I was taught, so this is what I believe. When you start reading the Bible deeper and going off and maybe reading other scriptures and different textbooks, just to open your mind, not to believe anything, but to even believe deeper into what you know, right? Like if you're selling a product, somebody gave this to you and said, this is the best buzzer in the world. It's the absolute best buzzer. Nobody's ever made a better buzzer than this. This is your buzzer. I want you to go tell everyone it's the best buzzer and make everyone get this buzzer. What would be the first thing you need to really do? Go try some other buzzers. Are you sure this is the best buzzer? Okay, I can accept this gift. Thank you. I can buy the buzzer myself. Now, in order for me to know that I'm speaking my truth, which, what is truth, right? I have to make sure that, all right, this stands. This is the best buzzer. So I'm going to go test some other buzzers. Maybe even just like feel some out. Let me hear some other buzzers. Let me feel like you got to experience other things to know that what you're saying is true, to stand firmer in it. Now
Your
I know.
truth.
Now I know this is the best buzzer because, dude, I went and did all my research. I have tried all the buzzers, and this is the best one.
And somebody's still going to come along and say their buzzer's better.
And if they do,
And that's fine.
and they show me their buzzer is way better than mine, yo, that's a cool buzzer. Let me see it. Awesome. I'm open to experiencing this buzzer. Maybe I still like my buzzer better.
But that's my point.
Yeah.
Is that your truth is it's completely relying on your own perspective.
Yeah.
I think when it comes down to the Matrix, or when it comes down to, you said something like, I'm this religion or whatever. I think the key question that anybody can ask themselves, to me, is the game-changing question. Who am I? When you go deep inside yourself and you ask yourself the question, who am I? You start to realize that you have absolutely no idea who you are. Bottom line is, everything that you think you only are because somebody else put those thoughts into your head. You're only a religion because your parents grew you up Catholic. Like you weren't born like, I'm Catholic. You were born as pretty much an empty entity.
Yet.
With gifts to bring to this world.
Yet you were born knowing.
You were born knowing.
Knowing. You were born intuitive.
100%.
Babies are born. They're like, I want my milk. Give it to me.
Yeah.
I want to sleep. Wah, put me to sleep. Like they're so intuitive. These babies are born knowing. And I was just talking about my 5-year-old, like the questions he asks. We forget how to be curious and how to ask questions.
That's why the question, who am I?
That's why questions are everything.
Is the most, to me, curious question. And it will send you on a wild journey. But I think the truth is that you'll actually never fully know because you're forever evolving. The only thing you will know is what you are not.
Yeah.
And that's the key. You will know what you are not, but you can really never know who you are.
Well, that's why the Tao Te Ching, right? Everything is in opposition. Everything is polar. Like, are you really Catholic? Are you really Jewish? No, you're not. It's an identity.
That's it.
So I think there's another cool question to ask. Like when you said that question, I was like, okay, who am I? All right. So most people are like, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a trainer, I'm Chastity. Am I Chastity? Like who's Chastity? Who is Chastity? What is a mother?
Who gave you the name?
What is a wife? My mother. Why did she name me Chastity? Because some other person named Chastity. And now when I go deeper, it's like, okay, I can accept all these as traits of myself, but who am I? Now, scratch that question. Okay, let's say I am light, I am love, I am God's child. What do I want? What do I want? I think that's been more challenging for me than who am I?
What do you mean?
When you
What
start
do you
to
want?
ask yourself what you want in this world and what you want this world to be, you will start giving yourself the craziest answers and realize, like, even saying, I want world peace. I want world peace. Okay, so you want a world where no one fights. What does that look like to you? Start to imagine a world where everyone's happy and peaceful and no one argues, no one bickers, no one challenges each other. Try to imagine that.
So you and I are on a little bit different spectrum. For me, you seem to think that from your perspective, what do I want? I feel like when you know who you are, that determines automatically what you want. Because you know that you actually don't need to change anything when you know who you are.
So for me, it's funny you say that because I feel like in order to evolve and to keep going and to keep creating, the power of God is within us, right? So like God has made us in his image, in its image, whatever God is. I don't even like to say him or her, because I don't even like to put an identity, and I definitely don't like to think like non-binary. I just think it's this overly whelming, awesome presence that's indescribable. That's God. And whatever that power is was breathed into us. God, this overly awesome presence, is within us. Well, what did God do? He created the heavens, the earth, the world, all the things. And that's our job here. We're just here to create. We're here to be creative, imaginative beings. And you could only do that through love. You could only do create. I mean, you can create through hate, but you're creating hell.
Let me ask you a question. Are you creating what Chastity wants, or you're creating what God wants?
That's the thing. So when you start going deeper as into what do I want, you have to start asking yourself, like you said, the negative things. What do I don't want? If I want peace, that means I don't want war. But I can't focus on war, because when you focus on what you don't want, you keep continuing to create it.
No, but my question is, are you creating as Chastity? Or are you creating as a divine avatar of God?
So that's where you start to go deeper in escaping the matrix, since that's our topic. And I did take notes here saying, baby screaming, the only way to truly start to even get to a point where you feel like you can escape the matrix, you have to like be okay in your body. You have to like release the body, right? Like you have to get rid of who you think you are in this body. Does that make sense? So like actually detoxing, getting, like your central nervous system activated and clear, and making sure that you're regulated. A lot of this is done through meditation, through cleansing, through, like fasting will help you connect to God if you use it spiritually. There are different ways to connect a little deeper, but you can't really escape the matrix until you're clear. Like until you're in a place where you're not in fight or flight. Well, you're not like, I have so much to do and I have all this. Like you're not just going to be like, I'm Neo. I could just walk through this, put my shades on. None of it's real. Like if you're like, none of it's real, but oh my God, I'm so overstimulated. You can't do that at the same time. Does that make sense?
No, I agree. I think what I'm saying is, once you know, from my perspective, once you start to understand or perceive what you are, or who am I, your character, in my case, Chris Jones, starts to fade.
Sorry.
And so what I mean by that is, it's almost like Chris Jones is no longer the driving force of my wants and my needs and my desires. There's something much larger at play here that is guiding me towards what the fulfillment or purpose of my life is.
Could you have gotten to where you are today without focusing on healing yourself physically?
I think I've
Chris Jones's journey. Could you have gotten there without healing yourself physically and then connecting spiritually by whatever means you do, through meditation, through plant medicine, through prayer, through our relationship? Would you be where you were today without doing that kind of work first?
Without a doubt, I can't question any part of my journey, and I would never question any part of my journey. It's just that I'm looking, the whole point of you said there's no past. The current or the present moment changes the past. So it's always the present, because you start the things that happened 10 years ago. You're like, sometimes, oh my God, that's why that happened. So
Or
it's in the
idiosyncrasies.
it's synchronicities.
Synchronicities.
It's in the present moment, but it changed my past, and then therefore it changes my future. But my point is, yeah, living as Chris Jones, which yes, I'm Chris Jones, but living as Chris Jones, only ego based. I was guided differently. I was guided for different reasons.
Because you were attached to Chris.
Exactly.
And what Chris wanted in his story and everybody else's story about Chris.
Well, not only that, what was also attached to Chris's conditioning that Chris was not aware of. Unconsciously, Chris is driven or has habitual patterns that were conditioned into him.
Which also made you sick. Your conditioning made you take certain actions down a certain
Everything
path.
is connected.
Right.
So, but all of those storylines are connected to the character and ego of Chris. So that's why I'm saying, as that starts to fade away, you end up starting to connect with the divine source that I think is the true creator of what we're actually here to create. So it's almost like, I don't know if Chris is here to create this stuff. The divine creator is creating it through Chris.
Do you believe that happens anyway, whether somebody's conscious or not? Like everything is playing out as it should, whether we're conscious or not?
I don't know. That's a good question. Sometimes I ask you and I ask other people, I'm like, is an awakening process like the grace of God? Like, wake up.
I think we had an episode on this.
And like,
grace.
And so like whenever I do see anybody, I don't have judgment towards them because I don't know. I don't know, like, man, they're suffering. And you could easily judge those people, but you're judging it from an egotistical perspective when in fact you have no idea. Like some of my life lessons is what kind of pushed me up. Very painful moments in my life that like made me question everything. And the last 4 years of my life were probably some of the biggest questions ever. And that jarred me. So that's life itself. Can I say that I had any impact in that? No. But can I say that I was naturally supposed to be strong enough for this journey? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know anything.
Yeah.
So what it leaves me with is only one thing, and it's gratitude. Like gratitude for going through my journey and being at this level here where hopefully we can share our experiences with others to help support them.
Yeah. Boom.
What?
And that, everything you just said about like not knowing whether we're given, like so many things ran into my head, right? Like as far as you go into this journey of escaping the matrix, at the end of the day, we are human.
Yeah.
I think that our purpose, what I feel like my purpose is to see how far I can push this human while maintaining the balance of love and compassion and enjoying the process, right? Because you could go like, how far can I push you? How much pain can I take? How much? But it's like, how far can I push myself in unlimited joy and creativity?
But I think that's what God is.
And sometimes a lot of that is forgiveness in making wrong choices and doing the things that you thought were right, but they weren't. And saying, oops, a lot of it is, I don't know.
But that's life.
A lot of it is, I don't know. Like, I don't know the answer. Just like when I was talking about Kobe last night, asking me about Jesus, are we Jewish? He's like, is Jesus a living man today? And I'm like, whoa, 5-year-old, go to sleep. Enough questions for tonight. Yeah. So I think it's so important to just keep asking questions. And so when you're escaping the matrix, the first thing is recognizing that this is all a story. Like, think about yourself in the movie The Matrix. If you're Neo or what was his girlfriend's name? Like, you know you're plugged in here in Earth. We're plugged in. We're the avatars. This is an avatar experience, right? Even if you believe in heaven or hell, like, there is an eternity somewhere. Not in this flesh, though. And if you're completely atheist and you don't believe in a soul and you don't believe in God, what is it? What is it that you came from? What is it that makes your heart beat? What is it that makes you breathe air in your lungs? What is that thing? And does that thing ever go? If you're a scientist, like, no thing is ever created or destroyed. That means everything is eternal. Right?
You mean energy?
Yeah. No, energy can never be
created or destroyed.
And you are energy. We're just a ball of energy. So you can't be created or destroyed. But who is you? Right? That's like,
who am I?
Who am I? Right? So then the next thing is, that's where I was saying, like, okay, who am I? Recognizing the story. And where do I want to go? What is this journey that I want to travel through, and why? Like, where do you want to go? Like, what is it in this world? Like, to understand you're in the matrix, you also have to feel like you have a purpose in the matrix. Because if you feel like you're just in this thing and it's going, and it's like, why am I here? So it's like kind of...
Is that how you feel?
What?
Like, oh, I'm in this thing, and how do I feel?
I feel like I have purpose. I feel like every day I am asking God, like, to guide me towards that, closer to that purpose. Because like I was saying before, like, I feel like the more I do, the less I know. Like, whenever I'm on this podcast, like, yo, I know nothing. Like, don't quote me on anything. Like, you can't come to me for answers. But what you can come to me is like a good conversation and some soup. Like, we can talk about it. I can help you get through what you're getting through by sharing like what I've been through and what I would do or did, and I'll hold your hand as we go through it together. But like, there's no, like, Chastity doesn't have the answer. I'm just sharing like everything that I've learned from all the infinite books I'm reading and all the journeying I'm doing. But like, I feel like my purpose, like when I'm laying in bed with my kids, I'm like, at night, I'm like, I get it. Like, this is love. This is life. This is purpose. It's not the runaround. It's not all the doing. It's just feeling that connection, feeling that unconditional love and joy.
Agreed. But I think that's what energy is.
Yeah.
I just think that you have to go through your unique journey, and whatever that is, the light and the dark, in order to get to the other side.
And that's my third tip. Surrendering to the process.
Yeah.
But in order to process and journey, you kind of got to know where you want to go. You got to know what you want to create. There has to be something that you're creating. Whether you like really know it or not, like when you're thinking about your gyms, right? Mm-hmm. Do you have a picture of where you want to be at least in like 5 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Like, I definitely
want
this.
But is that my picture, or is that the divine's picture?
It doesn't matter. Because as long as you have a picture, if you want that, you're going to see how the divine will get you there without you trying. Without you trying to manipulate
I understand.
The path.
My question was did the divine put that vision in me to begin with?
Isn't everything divine?
But what I'm saying is, are those naturally things, like the way that it sounds is like you have to work hard in order to create the life that you want to create.
Who said that?
Well, you're saying you need to have a photo or a vision.
That's it. That's the hardest part. Yes.
No, I know.
To see where you want to go, and that's my whole point of sharing.
I'm only making one question to that question.
I didn't say you have to work hard to get there. No. I said you have to surrender to get there.
So, is it the creating of the vision, or is it the surrendering? What comes first?
The creating the vision and surrendering. And it could happen simultaneously. And this is going to look like something different in everyone's path, right? There are people that are super sick right now, right? Maybe somebody's chiming in and they have this chronic illness. And they're like, yo, what are you even talking about, escaping the matrix? I just want to be out of pain. That's the matrix. That's your own matrix. The goal is to be out of pain. What you have to visualize is a life without pain. Like, oh my God, is that possible? Hell yeah, it's possible. Imagine what it would, but you have to think about what you would be doing without pain. If you weren't in pain, what would you want to be doing? A lot of people think their problem is being broke, right? Like, I can't do that, I'm broke. I can't do that, I'm broke. I can't do that. I can't get that, I can't have that. Oh, that's only for people with money. What would you do if you had the money? What's that vision that you would be doing? Where would you be living? What would your daily activities look like? And then that's when you get mind blown, because you're like, oh shit, I haven't even thought about what I would actually do with it. Right? Like, I didn't picture myself like buying a house, but then having to take care of the house and, you know, waking up to feed the chickens, and you have to visualize it. So like do you want a franchise in 5 years?
Before 5 years.
Okay. What would you be doing with that franchise?
Transforming lives.
What would you be doing with the franchise? What would you be doing? What does that look like to you?
What it looks like to me is that NBD, Nobody Denied, is transforming lives inside our team, outside of our team. I feel like I would be doing a lot more speaking engagements.
What does a life transformation look like to you?
For people to transform physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually.
What does that look like to you? What does a transformation look like?
It looks like a person who was content with life and everything that life brings them.
Joyful people, bringing their spirits up, bringing their health up.
Seeing how the world is always benefiting them for the lessons that they're here to learn.
Life is not happening to you, it's happening
for you.
Yeah. See, that's beautiful. You have to and then there's like pieces of your life that you may not even know are important. And this is what I'm working on. And that's what I'm saying. It's hard, right? When you start to like really start to visualize it, but that's stepping into that infinite time, space reality and allowing God to get you there. Like now you don't have to go, how am I going to do this? You just keep doing what you've been doing, right? Like, okay. And then things start coming to you like, oh my God, a business partner. I couldn't have planned this if I wanted to. That's escaping the matrix. When you are no longer thinking that you have to like bob and weave and you just walk through it. You catch the bullet, you block the bullet, you dodge the bullet, because everything's in slow-mo because you're not in fight and flight.
You're just connected.
What?
You're just connected.
Yeah,
you're connected to source. And so your entire belief changes. That's also why I said, who am I? You said surrendering. Well, when you start to say, who am I? And you acknowledge that, there's almost a part of you that's like, how could I not surrender? Do I want this ego? Or do I want the infinite?
The ego is attached to pain and suffering. It's attached to the story of which you have to suffer and you have to have pain. And I think that is why Jesus Christ has come to tell us all the parables. And go read all the parables for yourself and go, you decipher them how you want. And whatever books you want to read. It's like, you've relinquished from that pain and suffering. I died for you. I came here in flesh to die for you, to show you that all your sins are washed away. Pain and suffering is gone. Rewrite your story right now. Boom. Every day you wake up, you're forgiven. Boom. Every second, you're forgiven. Boom. There's nothing that you have to do to start right now. You don't have to go back. You can't go back into your past and say, oh man, I need to, but you can do that right now. You can relive the past in a whole different story, by living in the present fully.
So what are 3 steps that you would recommend for people to escape the matrix?
I told you this was going to be a deep one, Tyler. Same steps we always give. 1, meditate. I would really
Number
say,
1, ask the question, who am I?
who am I?
With real, true, childlike curiosity.
Yeah, who am I?
Not needing to hold on to what you think you are, but just ask the question.
And I would say number 2, ask, where do I want to go? And what do I want? And that, I feel like personally, that's the more mind-blowing one. Like, who am I? It's like, yeah, I'm nothing. I don't know. I really don't. At the end of the day, it's like, okay, but what do I want?
Well, my experiences show me different.
Okay.
For me, who am I was more powerful.
Isn't that cool, though?
For
that
me.
we're two
Different
but maybe
perspectives.
we're like the inverse of each other.
Agreed.
We're like so similar, but like literally the inverse. And that makes sense for that because like, it's not mind blowing to me, like for me to be like, I'm nothing. Like I can detach from myself. I'm chastity, blah, blah. Like I can let go of that story and I could still go through it. Like, all right, it's all, we're all wearing masks at the party, right? And then if you're showing up as your authentic self, it's like, you're the only one with no mask. You're at the party with no mask. And it's like, yo, this is weird. Let me put my mask on. But it's weird when you don't want to wear a mask and you're being yourself and you're like, maybe I shouldn't be at this costume party. Right?
So number 3.
Number 3 is read a spiritual book.
Yeah, which one?
Any one you want. I think the Bible's great.
Yeah.
I love to read the Bible every day. I think it has so much depth and has so much information. But I also think that people are drawn to what they need to be drawn to. I think that's divine. I think that's like...
But again, it starts with the questions. It says when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Yeah.
I think one of the additional things that I would like to just quickly add is that if the matrix is inside here and you need to overcome it, you have to stop looking outside and start looking inside.
As above, so below. So out.
And so when you fix when you work on the inside, the outside naturally changes. And that's when I would say meditation.
That's one of my favorite quotes. Fix the inside and everything on the outside falls into place. You get your mind right, you start to get your life right.
Agreed.
Change your mind, change your life.
That's it.
Peace. Make sure you follow us, like, comment, subscribe, share with somebody that may find this super interesting or want to chime in. We're here open to all your comments, even if you think what I'm saying is absolute nonsense.
It's all good. We all got our own perspective.
I'd love to share it.
Yep. Thank you guys.
Thank
Love
you guys.
you. Peace.
Tyler.